Welcome everyone. Today I'm going to talk about malware analysis process, which is part of my project as intern. The analysis will be focused on a live malware sample based on malicious macro world. Malicious macro are known as common attack vector generally transmitted from mail. Here is an example. The goal is to trick the victim to disable macro protection in order to run the malicious process. My job is to analyze malware by following a procedure which is divided in two main techniques, static analysis and dynamic analysis. Basically, static analysis consists in not running the malware, and dynamic analysis is to detonate it. A fancy word, meaning we run it. In order to protect the analyst and not spread the malware over the network or other device, we have to practice in a safe and isolated environment named sandbox. I'm going to show you a piece of my work in Remnux virtual machine, a Linux distribution dedicated to malware analysis. First, I'm using OLE tool on my malware doc file for static analysis. OLE is a script written in Python who parse Microsoft Office document to detect VBA macro, extract their source code in clear text, and detect security-related patterns such as auto-executable macro or suspicious VBA keyword. As you can see, it's quick and we have the most important information in the last frame. It seems that the doc file have an automatic execution when the document is open. It shouldn't bother us if it was only that. What makes the file suspicious is a set of behavior. Let me explain. When the document is open, we can see a bunch of function names such as create, show window, x string, base64 string, and chr. That could mean the doc file wants to hide a process or behavior by using strings unreadable by human. We can't confirm anything because of the obfuscation, but we know what we could accept by running it. Now we will use ViperMonkey. ViperMonkey is a tool written in Python and use VBA emulation engine to analyze and deobfuscate malicious macro. This tool is used as dynamic analysis because of its complex emulation engine that can trace code execution and highlight interesting actions such as the shell execution. If the file tries to download something, a write file or something like that. You can see obfuscated block of instruction we also had in OLE. He parse all the code and convert all the VBA function in Python model. Now it emulates the code by calling all the function and getting the result. And same as OLE, the most important information is stored in the last frame. The result shows us that there is an hidden PowerShell command and take a long encrypted argument. We will dump the encrypt argument and try to decrypt it with a tool. For this step, we will use CyberChef tool, which is a known web application to decode or encode data. CyberChef have a tool called Magic that can more or less predict the encryption of data. We will not use it because we remember that all VBA outputs say there is a base64 encryption somewhere. We have an almost readable output and we can guess some real string, so we can say it's a good encryption. In order to make it more readable, we can remove all the little points called null byte. Again, it's more clear, but not enough. We can see semicolon, that zipper argument in the string. We will replace them with the Enter key to make it even more clear. Now, for the last part, we will try to guess what is in this argument, because, as we can see, it's still some rest of variable which is obfuscated, and without any readable things, we can't guess what is it. So to do that, we will try to find variable to replace by more meaningful word. First, we can see a variable next to a .exe and user profile. We can guess it's the name of a program followed by the path of this program. So what will you do? We will click on it and replace it with understandable name like program. So now program is equal 267. As you can see, there is useless variable because they doesn't mean anything. We can't guess them, so we will just remove them. Now, as said earlier, we have the name of variable which is equal to user profile plus the name of the program.exe, and we can see further in the code 3 more times. Now, with what we have, we can just guess it's the path of the program. Again, those strings are not in the code, we can remove them. So here we have the name of a variable which is equal to new object net web client. What is it? We can find on internet. This is a namespace for C# language which provide command method for sending data or receiving data resource identified by an URL. So now we can replace this variable by, for example, connection. Now, in this case, we can see there is a variable which is equal on different name of URL. So we can rename it by URL. Again, the next string is not anywhere in the code, we can remove it. Now we can read for each something in URL, try connection, download file, and again element pass to the program. So we can guess it's each element in URL, so we can replace it with a name like address. In this case I made a mistake and rename it with element, but you can say address. Now what we have, if get item the path to the program, we can guess something like length and start path program. So what is that? After this, it will get each item from the element in URL and maybe check the length of this element, and if it's good, it will start the program. So my guess is the program will check for address to download the malicious program, and if it's a good length, it will start malicious program. So we can conclude by the fact we had a completely unreadable string, and now we can almost guess what was doing the program.